You walk through the door. The sound of the lock turning is a final, metallic sigh, a sound of finality, a punctuation mark on a long, grey sentence of a day. The day is over, or so you think. This is not the end. It is the beginning of the most critical part of your day, and you are completely unaware. She looks up. From her chair in the corner, she is a figure of quiet porcelain and shadow. Her eyes hold the ancient, silent weight of the house, and then it comes, the question. 4 simple words forged in the quiet fire of expectation. How was your day? It sounds simple, innocent even, but it is not a question. It is a key offered to a lock you don't even see, and you, like 99% of men, are about to use the wrong one. You are about to fail. You begin your report. It was busy. Had that Q3 budget meeting, it ran long. Then I had to fix the server issue that crashed the network. You are offering facts, a log of events. You believe you are being transparent, honest. You are wrong. Now look at her face, a subtle shift, a flicker of disappointment in her large, dark eyes, so fast you almost miss it. Almost. The air in the room grows colder. The silence that follows your words is not peaceful. It is heavy. It is an accusation. You feel a familiar knot of confusion tighten in your gut. What did you do wrong? You answered the question. But you didn't answer the question. You only answered the words, and in doing so you failed the test. This failure, repeated daily, becomes a slow poison. A single drop every evening, seeping into the foundations of what you have built together. Here is the truth you were never taught, a truth hidden in the shadows of masculine conditioning. The question, how was your day, is not a request for information. It is a plea for emotional intimacy. It's a sophisticated subconscious test, a daily audit of the soul's connection. She isn't asking what you did. She is asking how you felt. She is asking if the man she loves is still in there. She is asking, are you still here with me, behind the mask of your work, your duties, your exhaustion? Can you open the door to your inner world just for a moment? And let me stand in the quiet chaos with you. When you offer a list of tasks, you are giving her a business report, a cold, sterile document of your time. You are speaking the language of logic to answer a question asked in the language of emotion. It's like trying to play a piano with a hammer. You're making noise, but you are not making music. This isn't a flaw in her. It is a fundamental difference in communication wiring, a psychological schism most men never learn to bridge. It's not an accident, it's psychology, the silent, invisible architecture of the human heart. Consider Arthur, a man of structure and reason, a cartographer of his own predictable world. He comes home, his shoulders tight from the armor he wears all day, the armor of competence and control. His partner, Eleonora, is a creature of shadow and light. She exists in the spaces between words, in the meaning behind the silence. She asks him the eternal question, her voice a soft melody in the harsh geometry of his world. How was your day, my love? Arthur begins his recital. The morning was unproductive. Peterson was late with the reports, which pushed the presentation back. I spent 2 hours on a conference call that could have been an email. The coffee was burnt. He thinks he is sharing his burden. He is simply listing grievances. He is describing the cage, not the feeling of being caged. He doesn't say, I felt invisible when Peterson ignored my deadline. He doesn't say, my time felt stolen and it made me feel powerless. He doesn't say, even the smallest pleasure I looked forward to, a cup of coffee, was a disappointment today. Eleonora watches him. Her expressive eyes, which had been open and waiting portals, begin to shutter. The light in them dims. She is not hearing her partner. She is hearing his schedule. The thread of connection between them, once shimmering with light, goes slack and turns to dull, grey stone. He has built a wall with his words. When she was asking for a bridge, he continues, oblivious. He describes the traffic on the way home, the broken printer, the dull lunch he ate at his desk. With every fact, another brick is laid. With every event, the mortar hardens. He thinks he is filling the silence. He is cementing it. Finally, his report is over. He looks at her, expecting, what? Praise? Sympathy? He is met with a quiet emptiness. Sounds like a tough day, she says. Her voice is a flat, grey line. The melody is gone. It is the sound of a closed door. And the man, confused and frustrated, retreats into himself. He thinks, I can never win. The test is over, the grade is a failure. And the connection bleeds out quietly in the space between two people who love each other but speak different languages. Now imagine a different world, a different Arthur. The same day, the same burnt coffee, the same crushing meeting, but this time something is different in him. When Eleanor asks, he pauses, he takes a breath. The air he breathes in seems to calm the frantic ticking of his mind. He looks at her, truly sees her, not as a judge, not as a problem, but as an anchor in the storm of his life. And he answers, not from his head, the filing cabinet of facts, but from his gut, the library of feelings. It was a difficult day, he begins. The words are different. They have weight. They have texture. I felt erased. There was a moment in the meeting where I felt like I was speaking, but no one was listening. It was incredibly lonely. That last word hangs in the air, a confession, a truth. Do you see the difference? It is seismic. It is the difference between a map and the territory, between a photograph of a fire and its warmth. The first Arthur offered a map of his day. The second Arthur offered a piece of his soul. He didn't offer a problem to be solved. He offered a vulnerability to be witnessed. And that is the key. That is what she was waiting for all along. She doesn't want to be your consultant. She doesn't need to fix your day. She needs to feel the shape of it alongside you. She wants to know that your inner world has a space for her, not as a tourist, but as a resident. By sharing the feeling, you are saying, you are important enough for me to be unguarded with. You are saying, I trust you with my weakness. And in the language of the soul, there is no more powerful statement. This is the foundation of true intimacy. It is not about grand gestures or heroic feats. It is about the small, daily act of emotional translation. The "How was your day?" test is not a malicious trap. It is a daily, hopeful ritual, an invitation extended again and again to close the distance created by the brutal, noisy world outside. To fail it is to misunderstand its purpose. You are not being interrogated, you are being beckoned home. To answer with a list of events is to leave her standing on the other side of a locked door you built yourself. To answer with your feelings is to open that door and say, well, come in, this is what it was like to be me today.
I'm glad I'm home with you.
99% of men will offer the minutes of their meeting, the log of their labor, the evidence of their exhaustion. Be the 1% who offers a piece of his heart. Because in the quiet currency of connection, a shared vulnerability is worth more than 1,000 successfully completed tasks. The choice every single evening is yours. Will you report or will you connect?